Super Radio Brothers!
It's time for the Super Radio Brothers. I think the one just had an accident.
Yes, the Super Radio Brothers have returned to broadcasting from strategic locations all across the empire. It is the Super Radio Brothers. What's up, Trent? How you doing today?
You will never know where I broadcast. That is something. Hey, I'm a very open book, but you will never ever know where I will be broadcast, because you never know. You could show up and I would just want to run. But anyway, that's an intro to the show. I'm doing very well. I've been busier than a one-armed paper hanger, but other than that, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. Nobody's busier than a one-armed paper hanger, if I knew what that was. But it sounds very busy. Very,
I don't
very
even know what
busy.
that is sometimes.
You've been busy. I know you were doing a baseball game yesterday and a whole bunch of stuff going on with you, right?
Oh, yeah, lots of baseball. Did a baseball game on Tuesday night, had a band performance on Wednesday that took pretty much the entire day. Then I had to go to church practice Wednesday night. So I was a musician on Wednesday, a public address announcer / college student on Tuesday. And then Monday night, I had to hang out with, I had to do some things with my granddad. You know, he needed my help with some things. So I took care of that. But other than that, you know, it's been a crazy week, been a good week, though. Nothing bad, knock on wood. And yeah, other than that, I just blessed to be where I am, if you know what I mean.
And you got a chance to interview a music icon, a legend this week as well, which, by the way, is going to be premiering on a Super Radio Brothers all across the social media. We're available wherever you look. Trent, tell us, who did you get a chance to interview this week?
I interviewed the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend of 76 years, Don McLean. You know, the Bye Bye Miss American Pie. I didn't ask him to sing it for us. You know, he had been.
Did you sing it for him the way you just did? I think he would have loved to have heard you sing it.
No, I spared him from that. But that's something I will not spare you from. Yes,
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I sang. I interviewed Don McLean, a really great guy. Had a chance. It was only a 10-minute interview, so I didn't get a chance to ask him some of the things that I wanted to. But I mean, man, there was so much. I mean, I wanted to get into the Vincent Van Gogh story of how he came to write the song "Vincent" by Don McLean. You know, the one "Starry, Starry Night." You know that song.
Yeah,
and
so.
Yeah, that was a classic, as well as American Pie, and he talked a little bit about the children's book, you know, Don McLean's American Pie, kind of becoming a fable from the 1950s about Don McLean, you know, being a delivery boy. He was a delivery boy back in the 1950s, delivering newspapers. So we got into a little bit of that, and we got into the legacy, the life and legacy of the song American Pie, and of course, we can't forget the day the music died. And this is 1972 was when the song was on the charts, and it came in as the longest top, I can't remember the number, but the longest number one song on the chart for several years, until a couple of years or so ago, I believe. 8 minutes and 48 seconds. Can you believe?
Trent, you got a chance to talk to this guy. You interviewed him. Going to be available on Super Radio Brothers highlights next week, all over Super Radio Brothers on social media, Facebook, YouTube. And you got, if you think about it, that song is one of the most famous songs of all time. There aren't many songs that reach that level where, I mean, you stop anybody on the street, they're going to know that song. You know, that's pretty amazing.
Oh, of course, no matter what genre of music you're a fan of.
So, and you got a chance to talk to that guy, and we're going to have that everywhere. We've been pretty busy on our Super Radio Brothers YouTube page and on our Facebook page, Twitter. We just interviewed Anthony Rapp from Star Trek Discovery. They just wrapped up season 4. That interview is available on Super Radio Brothers highlights.
They just wrapped up.
Anthony Rapp just wrapped up. The show just wrapped up, and it's already been picked up for a season 5 on Paramount Plus. So there you go. It's starting to get there as one of the longest running Trek shows of all time. I think Voyager went the longest at 7 seasons. Either that or Next Generation. Of course, the original series famously only 3 seasons long back in the 60s. But yeah, it's getting up there, doing a great job. We had a chance to talk with Mr. Anthony Rapp. That's up there, Super Radio Brother highlights on YouTube and Facebook, all over the place, and a bunch of other videos. My Batman review is up there as well. And of course, last week's podcast. So catch up with us on Super Radio Brothers social media platforms. Also, very exciting, I've been streaming my gaming, Trent, on Twitch. All right, my Elden Ring adventures. A lot of people joining in and having fun with us, so I decided to kind of try to make a regular thing out of it. So if you're not doing anything on a Friday night, join the Super Radio Brothers on Twitch. The game right now, of course, is Elden Ring. With the massive nature of the game, that might be the game of choice for the next 3 years. But no, I can't. I don't see any end in sight anytime soon. But it's a lot of fun. So on Twitch at 9 o'clock, some live Super Radio Brothers gaming action there. So a lot going on with the Super Radio Brothers and Trent. We're all super busy. Look for that Don McLean interview next week, because I'm pretty excited to hear it. How dare the producer cut me off? I was in the middle of my thought. And he's like, get to the news already, dude. Get to the news. He's babbling and babbling. Super Radio Brothers this. What was that, Trent? I'm sorry.
I said it's a mystery producer. What happened?
Yeah, who is that guy? I personally don't like him. I don't know. I see him in the mirror every day, and I don't like him, Trent.
I second that. But no, I don't. No, I really don't.
Oh,
I just mess with
way to make a guy feel good about himself.
Oh, the pain. I'm so glad I can't look at myself in the mirror, even if I want to.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, you got the jokes, bro.
I know. I'm ready. That's what I say.
Guy.
Hey, Thursday nights. That's what I live for.
Yes. All right. So Super Radio Brothers news from this hell we call Earth the News. And we're going to start with some poop-related news, the poop scoop, whatever you want to call it. Trent, do you have a clever name for the poop news?
The poop news it seems pretty catchy. You know, I mean, a lot of it is dealing with, some metaphorically dealing with, some poop stories, and I guarantee you some in a literal sense.
Yeah,
that's probably.
I strive to get you literal poop news. Like I want that thing stinky.
Okay.
Stinky poop news. Did you know, Trent, that
No.
you could? Yeah, you probably didn't know. You could be paid for your poop. How about
Really?
that? Yeah. This is pretty amazing. Let's see. There's a biotech company in Arizona. Sears Therapeutics is a biotech company in Arizona and has opened a donor collection facility to collect poop for cash. The company operates Good Nature, which has set up shop in Tempe, Arizona, and is asking for donations of poop that can earn donors at least $25 to $75 per sample. That $75 sample must be some sample, I'll tell you. Good Nature is specifically looking for healthy adults ages 18 to 50, and notes that donors can earn up to $1,500 a month in compensation. Who wouldn't do this? This is amazing.
I know. Anything to get compensated.
Trent needs the phone number. In addition to,
I do.
If only we lived in Arizona, maybe I could ship it out there, but that might be might not work. In addition to meeting the health criteria, donors have to be able to donate poop 3 to 4 times a week at the collection site. The poop is being collected to help lead to future developments in gastrointestinal infections and disorders. How about that, Trent? Would you participate in this poop collection?
I mean, anything for compensation. That's a wild thing.
You're so honest. I thought you were going to say it was for the good of humanity, to help people who suffer from gastrointestinal infections and disorders. But you went straight for the compensation. Good for you.
Well, that too. But,
Hey, I'm all about I don't care about the people. I just want the money. I'm with you. Anyway, there you go. That is the poop news. What you got there, Trent?
Well, I don't know if you've eaten at a Kentucky Fried Chicken before. If you haven't, then you've been living under a rock, because KFC, as the Colonel used to say, it is finger licking good.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
tell you what, I love KFC, man. Whenever I go to KFC, I always get the chicken breasts. I always get the mixed kind of dinner with the 3-piece kind of chicken mix with like the breading on it, and got to get some potato salad, got to get some coleslaw.
Now I'm
got to get all that stuff. Well,
everybody who's listening, I hope you know your power, Trent. Everybody who's listening right now is jumping in the car and heading to a KFC.
And I don't blame them. Hey, they might as well. I gave them a free endorsement. They might as well be happy. They need to. They're going to wonder, why is everybody coming to KFC today? We're so grateful. Well, They need to credit me from the Super Radio Brothers.
Exactly. We need the credit. Come on.
People need to give credit where credit's due.
There you go.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well, an Ohio woman, went to a Kentucky Fried Chicken, and apparently she ordered one of those barrels of chicken. You know how you got like several, like
barrel of chicken.
Yeah. I mean, that's what legit. It's supposed to have, I think, like something about 25 pieces of chicken in it or something like that. Oh my good.
Isn't that like that sounds delicious? I need a barrel of chicken right now. I want to bathe in that. Some fried chicken. Little gravy.
Oh man, I got a follow-up story to this, just from personal something I used to listen to. Anyway, so she ordered about 25 pieces of chicken. Well, apparently she was 4 pieces of chicken short, so she only had 21 pieces in her barrel. Oh. Boy, she got mad. So she went up and instead of going to the manager, she decided to call, yeah, you guessed it, a number that you only need to call for emergencies. 911. And legit, and apparently we have audio of that call.
Yes, we do. Here it is. And one thing I'll say before I play the audio, Trent, I think everybody's had the experience of going to a fast food place and getting the wrong order, right? And you get upset about it.
Happens all the time.
But you never think about calling the cops, right? This is just ridiculous. No. All right, let's hear what how do they react to that?
Please dispatch.
Yes, I'm at KFC.
Okay.
And I came here earlier and I bought some chicken for $25.99, which should have been 8 pieces. I only got 4 pieces of chicken in here, and the manager gonna say he packed the bag, but I only got 4 pieces of chicken, and I want my chicken.
Okay, that's going to be more of a civil matter. You'd have to take it up with management and then maybe someone above him. There's not much the police can do about it.
Oh. You can't help me get my chicken.
I mean, I can send someone over to talk to you.
To talk to me, they should be talking to them. They cheating people out their food.
I think we should put that on a loop. I want my chicken, and that's
I want my chicken. I think that's every producer's soundbite that they need to save right now. I want my chicken.
I want my chicken. That's it.
And I got my number. I got my numbers messed up because it was $26. I knew. Hey, I had the numbers right, but $26. Essentially $25.99. You might as well just say $26 for a barrel of chicken and 8 pieces. And
oh my goodness,
she was missing. I'm like. She's missing half the barrel. She's got 4 pieces of chicken. Look, Rich, have you seen how big their pieces of chicken are? I mean, they're huge, dude.
They are huge. But hey, let's say, if you have a couple people you're feeding there and you're expecting 8 pieces of chicken, you get 4. That's not cool. But you go back to the restaurant, you make things right, you get your chicken. Why would you call the cops? What do you expect the cops to do?
It sounds like, yeah, that's true. I remember somebody, one lady, I forgot where she was, but they were talking about it on a radio show that I was listening to called 911 because they went to McDonald's and McDonald's messed up their order and the 911 dispatcher was like, hey, I ordered a McDouble and a small fry and I didn't get this, and the dispatcher said essentially the same thing that this dispatcher said, and then next thing you know, the lady just wouldn't stop. She was like, no, I need my other burger and fries that I ordered from McDonald's. And they're like, okay, I'll send an officer. And they did. They sent an officer because and they sent an officer and they actually arrested the woman. Apparently this woman, as far as I know, has not been arrested that I know of.
Well, there are a lot of stories lately of police getting involved in fast food. There was a story a week or two ago about in Uber Eats, these delivery services you order from online, they bring you the food. And I forget where it was at, but a cop actually had to arrest the Uber Eats driver, and the police officers then finished his delivery, brought the people the food. And here the people are, the cops show up with their food. It's pretty hilarious, So yeah, a lot of police. Hey, there are a couple things people are really serious about. You think about things you don't want to argue about with family members, right? You got politics, religion. Well, people also very serious about their fast food. You don't want to mess with. You don't want to get. My one of the things I had to deal with a lot coming down to the South from New York, Trent, is did you know in New York, whether any fast food place you go to for a burger, they do not put mustard in the burgers. But
Are you kidding?
Yeah, down here in the South, they put mustard on everything. So I would go to McDonald's or any of these fast food places, get a burger, and there's mustard in it, and I would be super pissed because I don't want mustard in my burger. It's just not my thing. But they automatically put it in there down here. So I'll make the order.
How about ketchup?
Oh, of course, love ketchup. Yeah, but mustard, no. And I'll say no mustard, please. And then you get home, and of course, there's mustard in the burger. So that's how. I didn't call the cops though, Trent. I did not call the cops. I know you like these.
You wouldn't strike me as a person that would try to call the cops.
Yeah, I don't call the cops for anything. No police, and don't take me to a hospital after I've been shot. It's very important. No. Yeah. We got.
No, not at all. Don't do that.
You gotta keep it all on. No police, no hospital.
Rich says Rich is a real man. He's gonna handle his business like a real man.
Yeah,
no matter
I'd
what.
take that bullet out myself. Yeah,
take it.
Yeah, I got this. Trent, I know you like these. A Florida man.
I love Florida man stories.
A burglar in Miami, Florida, was caught on camera robbing a shoe store, but he only ended up stealing left shoes.
Really? How do you do that?
How does that happen? Here's the owner, Trent. I got the owner, Jonathan Alvarez, pleading with the thief to just bring the shoes back. Please bring the shoes back.
The most messed up thing about it is that they took a bunch of left shoes. Just come forward and drop off the shoes. Just leave them here. I don't need to turn them over to the cops. I don't care about that. I pray that God put some sense into them and they just do the right thing at least.
I mean, seriously, Trent, here you got this store owner. He's got a bunch of right shoes with no left shoes to go with them. That's messed up.
Yeah, that is. I mean, they got the right shoes. They're like, oh, shoot, I got nothing, and I hate that. Whenever I have a pair of shoes, right, and I'm getting ready to put my shoes on, I always make sure to have the shoes as close to me as possible. But then there are times where, one shoe gets separated from the other. And a lot of times that's really annoying,
That's extremely annoying. Yeah.
Whenever you can't find your other shoe, I'm like, dang it, what happened? Or one time I actually went out and put on one left shoe, but I put on a right shoe from a separate pair of shoes, so they were two different colors, and no one pointed it out to me until later that day. They're like, by the way, did you know you were wearing two different colored shoes that day? And I wondered why my feet felt a little weird after I took my shoes off, and then I finally put two and two together and was like, oh, that's why. So
one time it's funny, living in the Bronx, you deal with some hardships, Trent. And
I know.
One time, a friend and mine, we were out late. We were really into rollerblading and skating and stuff. And we're out in, not such a great neighborhood. And we were jumped by a gang of kids. And they robbed us and they stole. We had rollerblades on us. And they took one rollerblade from each of us. And mind you, my friend Chris was much bigger than me and had a much bigger foot than me, so here we are, we have two rollerblades, I have one, he had, like, why the heck would they take one rollerblade from me and one from him? These are things you can't explain, but same situation. They got two left rollerblades of different sizes. Good for them.
Exactly. I mean, it's wow. Yeah. People these days, I don't understand. Yeah. Anyway, I got something for you.
All right.
A hamster was rescued. A hamster. Have you ever had a pet hamster before?
Never did the hamster thing. No, but they are adorable.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was more into reptiles and lizards and dogs.
Oh well, of course, yeah, dogs. Yeah, dogs are the bee's knees, as they say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But a trapped hamster was rescued thanks to the use of a vacuum cleaner. Now, this is the second week that we've had a vacuum cleaner either trying to suck something out of something or, in this case, rescuing something. A hamster. Go ahead.
No, you made me laugh.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Okay. In England, a hamster got caught in a kitchen pipe. Next thing you know, an animal agency tried to get it out, but were unable to do so. So a piece of a vacuum cleaner was acquired. A vacuum cleaner, detached piece, kind of came up and sucked him out. And he was rescued, and all was hunky dory, as they say. So that was kind of a not necessarily it's kind of, yes, it's weird, but it's also a feel good story that the hamster was rescued alive and everything.
I don't know, Trent. It seems like a lot could have went wrong there. What if the head of the hamster was really stuck? You use the vacuum cleaner, and then you get a decapitated hamster. And,
I know, that could have been horrible.
And now you still have a clogged drain on top of it. Imagine the horror, the humanity. So they were lucky, I think, to be successful in that rescue mission.
Yeah, exactly. But at least they sometimes you have to get by with a little luck.
I thought this was pretty funny. You ever see Star Wars, Trent?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it.
The original movie. I'm talking about the original movie, 1977, A New Hope. Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill. All the big stars. The very first movie that introduced.
Love the theme music.
Yeah, oh yeah, we got the theme. I thought this was pretty funny though. Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars, and has been the voice of the Joker in a lot of the Batman animated. A lot of people think he's been the best Joker of all time, and it's an animated version. So he's made his mark there as well. Get it, Mark Hamill. But Mark Hamill, he posted. I know I disappointed you. I'm sorry. He posted.
Where's the boo track?
Yeah, I wasn't ready. This darn producer, Mark Hamill. He posted an interesting Star Wars fact yesterday, which is pretty funny, I thought. He said in the first trilogy, so I guess he's talking about the first 3 movies, his character, Luke Skywalker, he asked 118 questions. So it's like, Luke was a pretty curious guy, he's asking a lot of questions. So it's a little montage right here. I thought this was pretty funny. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll appreciate it. It was good.
What about that one? You know of the rebellion against the Empire? Have you been in many battles? Were you on a Star Cruiser? What's this? Who is she? Wait a minute, where'd she go? Do you know what he's talking about? What if this Obi-Wan comes looking for him? You knew my father? What are you doing hiding back there? You fought in the Clone Wars? How am I ever going to explain this? 10,000? Why didn't you outrun him? I thought you said this thing was fast. What's that flashing? Are you all right? You mean he controls your actions? You don't believe in the Force, do you? Huh?
So there you go. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, a very curious Jedi, or even before he became a Jedi. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, you want to hear about a drunk man?
I always want to hear about a drunk man. That's not me. No, I'm just kidding. Who are we talking about here, Trent?
Well, I am not a participant in the alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but I know a lot of people that do. Well, this drunk man was found sleeping in a child's bed. Can you believe this? In Sweden, a man said that he got up early, a father of his 3-year-old son and a dog, went to get up and take care of the dog and his 3-year-old son. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, his son comes running up the stairs of their 2-story apartment, this 2-story house rather, and says, "Dad, I see a ghost." Well, the father goes down to check it out and sees this guy passed out, drunk, just absolutely, 6 sheets to the wind, as they say, or something like that. There, he's really laying there and just really having just a weird time. He has no idea where he's at, and the guy was, somehow he broke in. Well, the man was going to handle it on his own, and then he decided to get the police involved. You know why, Rich?
Why?
Because the guy urinated on the child's sheets.
You gotta let that child do that himself.
I know.
That's not cool.
I know, exactly. Yeah. The guy urinated on the child's sheets.
Oh.
And he called police, and apparently he was arrested and taken away.
He should have been arrested. That's terrible.
I know. I couldn't believe it.
We were, Trent, we were just talking about your big interview with Don McLean and American Pie, the whole history and all of that, and it's worth mentioning, going to be available Super Radio Brothers YouTube highlights. Be on the lookout for it next week. But Trent, you're a rock and roll guy too. You're into music. You ever listen to Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, and do you know of them?
I know of them, but I don't think I've ever listened to them.
So Trent Reznor, just one of the all-time greats, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Really a musical genius. The first album, Pretty Hate Machine by Nine Inch Nails, I believe that was 1994. He basically played every instrument on the album.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the whole album is him. It's a lot of electronic drum beats and stuff, guitars and everything, but everything you hear in Pretty Hate Machine was produced and created by Trent Reznor. He basically is Nine Inch Nails. So if you don't know Nine Inch Nails record, here's the first track off Pretty Hate Machine. It'll let you get a little sample of a little NIN, a band I grew up loving here. Oh, that's the stuff, Trent. You hear that? Now, yeah, you can't take how good this is right now. We're all very excited. Feel the groove. Just let that rain on you there. Oh, that's some
yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I'd rather die than give you control. You know the whole thing. So that's Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails. I saw this really cool thing, though. Trent Reznor, back in the 80s, before Nine Inch Nails, he was the keyboardist in a synth pop band called Slam Bamboo, which was pretty wild to me to even consider that Trent did something like that. Trent Reznor, not you, Trent, another great musician, of course. But here's Trent Reznor, and you just heard Nine Inch Nails. Now listen to the difference between that, which is about 6 years later, compared to this.
Keyboards, Trent Reznor.
I'm going to throw in a plug for Trent back there, because when we did our feature, Scott's Kids, Trent helped out and showed a nice young man some synthesizers and all that sort of stuff, too.
Don't tell those little white, don't tell those little white lies. No, no, don't tell those little white, don't tell those little white lies.
Well, to be fair, although different, still very good. I mean, come on, Trent Reznor, he's so good. He actually recently did the score for the Watchmen TV show on HBO, which was pretty great as well. So yeah, Trent Reznor, one of the greats. Trent, I thought this was really cool too. Drunk driving is a big no-no. I hope you know that, and I wouldn't want to see you fall into that mistake. Okay, so if you're drinking, don't get behind the wheel. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, oh, no, you don't want to ever do that.
It's bad. Well, how about this? An insurance company just rounded up, and this is very important information, I think, because they rounded up the list of the top 10 cars people with DUIs drive. Isn't that crazy? So if you see this car on the road, there's a good chance the person driving it is drunk. So be careful. At number 10, the Ford Contour. Number 9, Dodge Dakota. Number 8, the GMC Sierra. These are all drunk people. Number 7, the Chevrolet Silverado. Number 6, Toyota Tacoma. Number 5, GMC Sonoma. Audi A4 at number 4. Chevrolet S-Series trucks at number 3. Number 2, the Subaru WRX. And at number 1, the number 1 car busted with DUIs is a Dodge Ram 2500. So useful information.
The majority of these are trucks, Rich.
What does that say? I don't know what that says, but you're right, Trent. A lot of people in trucks, have no problem, I guess, slamming a couple.
Do you think they're listening to country music along the way?
I don't know. I thought this was probably about this, Trent. This is pretty wild. Wi-Fi, that thing that makes this show possible.
Yeah, Wi-Fi's pretty darn important. Last time I checked,
pretty important. And it says here that Wi-Fi will be on the moon in just 2 years. Now that's pretty incredible. A startup, Aquarian Space, has plans to bring Wi-Fi to the moon in under 2 years. The company just received $650,000 in seed funding to deliver high-speed internet to the moon and maybe even Mars. Funding.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that pretty incredible? So Draper Associates is funding them. They actually were the first to invest in SpaceX, and we know how big that is now, and really revolutionizing space travel and setting the stage for the next evolution of that. So that's pretty interesting if you think about it. Just humanity is preparing to bring Wi-Fi to the stars, Trent, or at least to the solar system.
Is this the real life or is this fantasy?
A little Queen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Had to bring that up. But
Thank
yeah,
you,
I don't blame you. Hey, Jude, Wi-Fi's in everything nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. I listen to my Queen on Wi-Fi too.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, play some Queen. Come on, let's get it going. Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. Sorry, that's the best song, Trent. By the way. Bicycle.
Yeah, okay.
That's the best Queen song, I think. And finally, here on the news, it's a pretty good newscast so far, I think. Not bad, right? Have you learned anything from the newscast so far, Trent? I want to know.
The only thing I learned was the Wi-Fi is going to be on the moon in 2 years. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day. I'm done for the rest of the show.
I can go home now. Yeah, that's big news. That's true. That's pretty big news. Okay, so people believe they spotted a UFO submerged underwater on Google Earth. A UFO researcher says he studies Google Maps and found what he thinks is a 5-mile wide UFO sitting at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Nazca, Peru. But there's no proof of this other than me telling you right now, Trent, it's definitely aliens. All right, you gotta go take a look at this because it's definitely aliens. It's not a lie, and just the fact that it's off the coast of Nazca, we all know about the Nazca lines, right? And those symbols that were put there by the ancient aliens, that is. So I think it's clear it's definitely aliens. What do you think, Trent?
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. If you say it's clear, it's definitely probably clear.
It's definitely aliens for sure. And that
alien.
Do you have a song to sing for us?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's so disappointing. I heard some tunes. And that, my friends, is the news.
Super Radio Rundown.
Super Radio Rundown. Trent, the Batman continues to dominate at the box office, up to $300 million now. It's made at the box office, a third consecutive week at number one, this time bringing in $36.8 million. Still lagging behind The Dark Knight, which I think is a superior movie anyway, which at this point in its third week made $42 million. And,
how many times have you gone to see it?
I've seen it the one time. But
okay.
Yeah, I've only seen it the one time, but I will definitely look to see it again. Now, the money the Batman is making isn't the big news today. A huge story came out where should I do spoilers? I don't know, Trent. I guess in order to give this story, I gotta have a little bit of a spoiler. So let's do this. Yeah, it's a spoiler. So if you didn't see the Batman, at the end you get an Arkham scene with the Riddler, and the Joker is in that end scene, played by Barry Keoghan. He plays the Joker at the end. You don't really get to see him. It's more of a silhouette kind of talking to the Riddler. And to be quite honest, it wasn't necessarily a scene that I liked. I felt it was a little forced, but even at the end of Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins, they kind of tease the Joker at the end of that movie. So it kind of goes with the territory. It's what you expect, and that's what they did. So, however, today they released a 5-minute deleted scene featuring Batman meeting Barry Keoghan's Joker in Arkham Asylum. It was officially released. As I said, it's a 5-minute scene.
Wow.
Scene is reminiscent of a Silence of the Lambs type of thing, where we all remember Clarice going to visit Hannibal Lecter in prison. So it's and also, let's face it, the Matt Reeves, he took a lot from the Dark Knight series, from Batman's confrontation with the Riddler in the police station in this movie too. That's what Nolan did.
Sure
with
did.
Heath Ledger, and in that film back in the 2000s. I think that was 2008. But anyway, you get 5 minutes of Barry Keoghan's Joker, reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs. I'm sure people who have basically people who are into this show have definitely seen it, or everybody's seen it. And it's basically the Batman asking the Joker who the Riddler might be. And that's exactly Silence of the Lambs, because Clarice is going to see Hannibal Lecter to see if he could give her information as to who, I forget the killer's name in Silence of the Lambs. But it's basically the same scenario. I am going to put a video together for Super Radio Brother Highlights on my opinion of this, so I won't dwell on it too long. I will say that I didn't love it. I was less than impressed, and the basis of my argument in the video, Trent, will be that he sounds kind of like Elmer Fudd. It's a cross between an Elmer Fudd and a poor Heath Ledger impersonation, in my opinion. But I'll get a little bit more into that on Super Radio Brother Highlights. Keep an eye out for it. But yeah, I didn't like it. I was not impressed. As a matter of fact, I think it was a great decision to leave it out of the film. It's my opinion that they probably should have left the scene at the end of the movie out as well. But if you're Barry Keoghan and you played the Joker, and final cut of that movie comes out and you don't get any burn in the film, what do you tell your parents? That's just very disappointing, right?
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, shoot, it's that you got the deleted film, you're like, or the deleted scene, and then all of a sudden it comes out, you're like, oh man, and now you figure out the reason why it was deleted. I mean, you think that it was better off being deleted and not released at all.
Yeah, it really wasn't that good. I didn't enjoy it. So, and it's clear why it wasn't included in the film. It would have been forced, I think, really. And maybe, look, it's hard to judge the scene, the performance off one scene. So maybe I'm being unfair. But yeah, if this was to be a one scene thing, it's never going to work. It has to be like Silence of the Lambs, where Batman keeps going back. There's got to be at least 3 or 4 scenes so he can build that character. But for the one scene that was 5 minutes long, it just didn't work for me. In Marvel news, Trent, Richard Rider, which is a big character in the comic books. Most people who really enjoy the Marvel movies might not know who Richard Rider is. Well, he is Nova of the Nova Corps. Basically Marvel's version of the Green Lantern Force. They're basically the space police, except
right.
Nova is super powerful. With the Green Lanterns, they have the ring. With Marvel's Nova Corps, they got the helmets that are basically all powerful. I really dig Nova. He's a cool character, and now it's being reported. We've been waiting for this because the Nova Corps has been a big part of the movies, from Guardians of the Galaxy to everything space-related in the Marvel movies. They're always bringing up the Nova Corps and the planet they come from and everything. Well, now the Nova character, Richard Rider, appears to be joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sources tell Deadline that Marvel is developing a Nova project with Moon Knight Rider, the guy writing Moon Knight, which is another Marvel show coming up on Disney Plus in about a month. It's right around the corner here. So we're excited about that. It's unknown whether this is going to be developed as a feature film or a limited series for Disney Plus. So, and as always, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige will produce. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about Richard Rider, a.k.a. Nova, entering the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And when did you say this was coming out?
Well, there's no word yet on a release date or on if it's a movie or a TV show yet. So, very limited.
Well, either way, I think it should be good.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty pumped up about it. More Marvel news. The highly anticipated Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The runtime of that movie has been leaked. Everybody loves to have these leaks, and apparently the runtime for a Multiverse of Madness is 2 hours and 28 minutes, 148 minutes. So 2.5 hours. I'm not surprised by that. It pretty much seems to be the standard for these movies these days. Other interesting thing to bring up here as well is the fact that, hey, Stranger Things, and Stranger Things is always a interesting show, a Netflix show. It's one of those shows where we've had a chance to watch these kids grow up.
Oh yeah,
I really dug season 1. The next 2 seasons were mediocre at best. But yeah, Stranger Things, they released a teaser trailer. Fans got a sneak preview of season 4.
That's one of the shows where you just feel like you're invested in the characters' lives, from start to finish.
Yeah, it's almost like a Harry Potter thing where man, the first season, these kids were so little, and now, they're basically teenagers. Season 4, we got 12 teaser images. The visuals show the teens engaged in Dungeons and Dragons and preparing to face off against evil. While spoiler alert, Sheriff Jim Hopper is alive and well. He was apparently dead at the end of the last season. Well, according to these, but who knows? You never know. Maybe those were flashbacks. Who knows what's going on there? Anyway, it looks like the debut of season 4 for Stranger Things is coming up May 27th. So that's big news. A lot of people love that show. What else do we have here? And one last thing, one of the things that we love to do now, one of the modern applications that they've added to streaming services, like Netflix was the first, but everybody followed suit, is the skip intro button. Right? Everybody loves the skip intro. Nobody has patience to sit through the intro. You skip the intro, get right to your show, especially if you're sitting there binge watching. You don't have to watch the intro over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, a blog post from Netflix reveals Netflix users hit the skip intro button 136 million times a day. How about that?
Wow. I didn't know there was a skip intro button.
Yeah, so you don't have to watch that intro, Trent. You can skip that, okay? Just skip intro. I'm tired of hearing that song.
Yeah, skip intro. Hey, I may not want to hear it. I may want to, I may only have, X, Y, and Z. I may not be interested in the intro at all, and just skip it and go right to the show. A lot of times, the intro is fluff, in my opinion. It's designed to grab your attention, but you know what? In my opinion, sometimes I just want to get right to it. You already know pretty much. You've read previews, you've seen trailers of a lot of shows. A lot of times, you just want to go. You want to go for the meat and potatoes, as they say, and that's what you can do.
Oh yeah. You want to go for the meat potato. You want to get right to the action, unless it's one of those cool like old 80s sitcoms, like Cheers. Or my personal favorite, Golden Girls, thank you for being a friend. Your heart is true. You're a friend and a confidant. Boom, 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 boom. Right?
I've learned stuff about you in the last 2 weeks that I never knew.
Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. Golden Girls, you kidding me? Yeah, you got to get into that. But speaking of Golden Girls, I shouldn't say that. Jamie Lee Curtis has been around a long time. I'm not saying you're old, Jamie Lee Curtis, but she first starred in Halloween back, I forget the year for the original Halloween, back in the mid-'70s. That's the movie that made her famous. John Carpenter's Halloween, which is a great, great movie, and she went on to star in a ton of movies. I think most famous one for me is True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Great, great movie. Well, she's also a fantastic mother. Can you imagine this? She will officiate her daughter's wedding while dressed as a World of Warcraft character. So these are one of these games, Trent. It's an MMO where it's a massive online game where people just create their own characters and they go into this world and fight each other or fight together.
All right.
It's one of those cosplay things, but here you have Jamie Lee Curtis, been in the business for 1 million years, and now she's going to dress up as a World of Warcraft character for her daughter's wedding. She's going to officiate it that way, and I just think that says something about her as a mother, Trent.
It does. I mean, hey, if you want to officiate your child's wedding, I mean, she really wants to get involved. There's no lack of involvement apparent at all with her.
All right. Yes, indeed. That's right.
Pew, pew, pew.
Video game news. Video game. Yeah.
Video game news brought to you by my dog. She likes video game news. Now, big announcement. Well, not that big, but Ubisoft has announced that Far Cry 6 is free, but only for this weekend, March 24th through the 27th. It'll be available on the Ubisoft store. So basically, if you can beat the game within that time period, I guess you basically had it, right? But if you like what you played over the weekend, you can then get the full game following. If you downloaded it for free, you can then get the full game for 50% off. And that's not a bad deal if you like the game. I've heard mixed feelings about Far Cry 6. I've never been a big Far Cry player. My dad liked the game back in the, it's kind of one of those open world first-person shooters. We just go around shooting people and stuff like that. So anyway, it's free this weekend if you want to download it. Also, Apex Legends, one of those big online games, shooters. They're having a big event going on this weekend. I know nothing about Apex Legends, but this is one of the big stories in video games right now. It's the Warriors Collection event. Starts March 29th, running through April 12th. Apparently, they're bringing back 9 versus 9 control game mode and a whole bunch of other features, a new map, a new drop-off location, 3-on-3 game mode, so different special skins. So if you're a big Apex Legends fan, don't miss their Warriors Collection event happening from March 29th through April 12th. So look out for that. And a couple of Elden Ring stories. Apparently, and everybody wants to say that PC gaming is the elitist style of gaming. I play on PlayStation, but garbage like this I don't see happening on PlayStation, where basically there's a mode, Trent, where there's an online aspect to Elden Ring where if I'm going up against a boss that I can't kill, I can call someone into my game to help me. Or if
it's like using a lifeline.
Yeah, basically. Or if I decide that I want to go mess around with someone, I can invade games. So if you're playing Elden Ring, say, let me go into Trent's game and try to kill him. Just show up and try to kill you. Well, apparently, somebody found a hack in this game for PC where it's called the spiral death loop. If you try to invade someone's game, you materialize like over a canyon and you fall to your death repeatedly. It just keeps happening over and over again. So they were actually able to make a patch to fix that, so that's not going to happen anymore. But it's just one of those things, Trent, that you really can really annoy you with online gaming, especially with sports games. One of the biggest, one of the most horrible things in sports games, you're playing online, and let's say me and you, we're playing a basketball game, right? And
what is it, NBA 2K?
Yeah, NBA 2K. Let's say we're playing a game of NBA 2K. We get down to the end, and there are so many different ways you could talk trash without talking trash to each other. But here's one way that was always annoying. Let's say I just hit a big three with 5 seconds left to take a 4-point lead. Like the game's over. I just hit that big three. The other person pauses the game and just leaves it on pause for 3 minutes, trying to get you to quit. People are always looking for just the worst ways to ruin online experiences. Why can't they just have fun, Trent? I don't get people sometimes.
Well, people are competitive. My sister is one of those. My young sister, she's about 12 years old now. She'll be 13 in June, and she's not a great winner, but when she loses, you want to make sure you're at least 20 feet away from her, because boy, she does not good. My dad and she played video games sometimes, and my dad would often beat her, and she was not happy about that. And you talk about not making the experience fun. Now, I love my sister to death, but she would probably not make an experience fun if you wanted to play a video game with her or something.
Sore losers can make things a little difficult sometimes. I don't want to feel bad about being successful in this game right now. Help me enjoy it. Let's just have fun. If you just hit the big three, I'm not going to do that to you. Come on. Or maybe I will.
Oh, if I hit the big three, I'll be celebrating. You'll be able to hear me from all the way up there.
Oh, yeah. There are people that'll let you know for sure. I'm usually a silent player. But now with the Twitch thing and everything, and trying to bring more viewers there, I might try to be more present in some of those. It's just people are relentless with the trash talking. It could get a little obnoxious. But anyway, speaking of trash talking in sports, it's time for Super Radio Brothers Sports with Trent Ferguson and me.
Who?
Rich Carroll. Yeah. And of course, as always, Trent, for more sports, I would refer you to Outta Sights Sports, available on SoundCloud, the Flagler Radio app. It's a place where we kind of
FlaglerBroadcasting.com.
Yeah, all those places you can get yourself some sports, and now you can get some sports right here on the Super Radio Brothers. A lot of things going on in sports. Trent, baseball is back. Big trades, NBA playoffs around the corner. Where will you navigate us to?
Well, I think I want to start with the NFL. We don't want to start with Major League Baseball or the NBA.
Yeah.
My Tampa Bay Rays have not won a spring training game yet.
Oh,
and,
no.
I know it doesn't matter, but we've had 2 ties. I don't get a chance to watch very many spring training games, but my band performance ended about 4:30 yesterday, somewhere around there, and I was 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. I had just gotten home. And was getting ready to go to church practice that I have on Wednesday nights with my church band. And all of a sudden, I had a chance to sit there and watch a little bit of the game before I left for practice. And next thing you know, the Rays were down, I think, 5-4 going into the 9th inning. They come back, they take a 7-5 lead with, second, third string guys in there. And then the bottom of the 9th, the Rays closer, if you will, allowed 2 runs to tie the game at 7, and that's how it ended for the Atlanta Braves and the Rays.
Listen to you hanging on every pitch of a spring training game. It's impressive, Trent. You're a real fan. Well,
this is when I get a chance to do my scouting. I didn't know Brooks Raley before he came into spring training. I wanted to see a little bit of J.P. Fireeisen, who pitched for the Rays last year. I wanted to see, several of the guys. And, of course, I've seen the regulars of the Yandy Diaz and the G-Man Choi and the Brandon Lau and the Tyler Glasnow, pitcher and things like that. But, you look at it, this is the time. This is a perfect time because this is when you scout. You get a chance to scout the players, and you're like, okay, now we know what to look for.
The only problem is half the time you see these guys, you wish you hadn't seen them. A lot of that baseball could get pretty sloppy. I did get to see Volpe play the other day. He's the big Yankee prospect at shortstop, which a lot of people are saying is the reason they didn't go after a Trevor Story or a Carlos Correa. Hey, we got Volpe down the line. Let's make this trade with the Twins to get Falefa. And a lot of people, Trent, are saying now that, look at the Twins taking advantage of Brian Cashman. What an idiot. It takes the Twins garbage and Josh Donaldson, who was good 7 years ago, and this Falefa guy. They take those guys back, take Donaldson and his money. And what do the Twins do with that money? They turn around and they turn that into Correa. So it's not often. As a matter of fact, I think the Twins right now have the record for most playoff losses. I believe it's at 19 now. You realize the Twins have lost 19 straight playoff games now, and I believe that number is 16 against the Yankees. The majority of that is against the Yankees. So, maybe this is that moment. Like the Red Sox in 2004, where the Twins can reverse it against the Yankees. They get the bet. Let's see. It's not. Look, it's hard to say they got the better of you before the season started. Let's see how everybody. Look, Correa is an awesome player, but it's about sometimes in baseball. It's not necessarily about signing the best player every single time. I talked about it a little bit last week. Yankees' response in the early 2000s to losing was get Giambi, get A-Rod, get Sheffield, get the biggest guy out there. That did not really turn into championships. The Yankee teams that won championships were the late 90 teams that really didn't have superstars at every position. So maybe Cashman will turn out to be right, but recent track record would say this was a terrible offseason for the Yankees. But we got to see them play baseball first, right, Trent? You got me into a little bit of a Yankee rant there with barely even – all you had to do was bring up baseball, Trent.
Well, doesn't take much anyway. I mean, whenever I don't even have to bring up baseball. Let's talk about the Yankees.
You got to talk about the Yankees. They're the Yankees, Trent. You got to talk about the Yankees.
I know. Yeah, you have to. We're division rivals. For those of you who didn't know, I'm a Rays fan. He's a Yankee fan. Rays and Yankees play each other. I still laugh because he went to the Rays-Yankees game last year, and they had taken 2 out of 3. The Yankees taken 2 out of 3 of that series. Garrett Cole shut us out the Wednesday night that before he went there. Next thing you know, Jameson Tyone or whoever it was in Tampa Bay, and he wasn't even complaining about the game for the most part. He hated the chicken tenders that they served.
The chicken tenders were disgusting. Come on, give me a break here. We don't have sausage and peppers. With them? What was that, Trent?
Did you have fries with them? Did you at least get fries?
I had some fries. I just wasn't impressed there. The beer was pretty good. I forget what kind of beer I got there. I think it was Copperhead. It was pretty good stuff. But, the food was less than stellar. But even with the beating the Yankees took that day, it was cool to be at a Major League Baseball game, even if it was Tropicana Field. I
love Tropicana Field.
Well, it's definitely your home team's ballpark, so how can you not? But
I'm going at some point this season. I don't know when I'm going to go, but I'm going to go relatively early. I'm going to do the best I can to get over there.
Yeah, sometimes it's rough with we live here in Florida. Well, you're closer to the action than I am. I'm so far north that it's impossible to get out there to some of these spring training games. It would be cool to see some of that in person, like stop by Legends Field in Tampa, watch a couple of Yankee games. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's something this year. Something I hadn't been able to do for a couple of years is go to a spring training game. I was like going to Charlotte Sports Park. I've been by Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota. I've also been by McKechnie Field in Bradenton, I believe, is where the Pittsburgh Pirates are. And the closest one to me is over in Lakeland with the Detroit Tigers, where they play at their ballpark as well. But I've always wanted to go down to Little Fenway Park, down here, the miniature version of the actual Fenway Park located in Boston, Massachusetts, and so it'll be interesting. I like going out there, not just for the food, not just for the game, but it just seems like you're able to really examine what is going on the field, more than a Major League Baseball game, because there are 3-4 times less people at a spring training game than there would be a regular season MLB game. Yeah, for sure. And they do Yankees anyway at Legends Field. They do seem to pack that place up, but I think I don't know, what is it? I forget capacity there. It's very low, something like 7,000-8,000 people. It's not a lot. Hey, just think though, 2 weeks from tomorrow, if you're listening on Thursday night, 2 weeks from tomorrow, with it being Friday, April 8th, the Tampa Bay Rays are in action. The Yankees are in action. The Red Sox are in action. It's opening day. I declare that a national holiday. My phone might be off on April 8th because you won't be able to hear from me. You're going to be missing in action, right? You're going to be watching wall-to-wall baseball in April. April baseball. That's it. It's just a sign of the time that the summer is right around the corner. Everybody email your boss or call your boss and tell them that you want April 7th and 8th off, because you want an early start to the weekend, the first weekend of April, because that's when baseball is back. That's when the opening day takes place. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm pumped up about it. I can't wait, man. And there was good. There were a lot of concerns about the vaccine mandate in New York that's prevented Kyrie Irving from playing home games this entire season for the Brooklyn Nets. And I hate to interrupt you, Rich, but before you get into that, I need to bring up one thing. The original agreement with Major League Baseball and the PA talked about how there will be no guest runners, or no ghost runners, rather, whenever it comes to extra inning games. Well, this week it came out that they're bringing back the ghost runners, at least for the beginning of the season, in extra innings. So if your team plays an extra inning game, you're going to start with a runner on second. Each team is going to start with a runner on second, like they have for the past couple of years during COVID-19. So I must mention that. Let me say this about that, Trent. Last year, I was staunchly against that. I thought it was terrible. I'm mainly a baseball purist, okay? And just the idea, it was very hockey to me, where in the NHL, in overtime, they go to the 4-on-4. It's very, and they won't do that. And I'm always a proponent of the game in the regular season should look exactly like the game in the postseason. It should not be a different game. And I really hated this special rule. Let's start with a runner at second base.
in extra innings. But two things. First of all, it did its job, because I don't have it in front of me, but I don't remember any 19, 21 inning games last year. So 6 hour, 7 hour games, whatever it is, going 20 innings long. We didn't see that last year. And the most important thing, it made extra innings pretty darn exciting. I have to
sure
admit.
did.
Now, I don't want it in playoff baseball. That you can't have that nonsense in playoff baseball. But regular season, let's not. There's 162 games. They play every single day. These guys, I don't need a 6 hour ball game on a Tuesday night. I just don't. You get to extra. Plus, it saves the pitcher's arms in the on the staff, and oftentimes you'll get a position player in there in some of these crazy games that go too long, and they get hurt. So I think it's I've kind of changed my mind on that, Trent. I really didn't like the idea last year, but after watching it, I think it works, and I like it. I'm cool with them having the ghost runner in extra innings this year. How about you? What do you think?
I understand that it makes extra innings more exciting, but I have to say I am a baseball purist like you, and it just felt weird. I guess I'm starting to get used to it now, because this will technically be, the third season, since the 2020 season started with it, the tournament, like you used to call it. Then in the 2021 season, we had a full season last year, and it looks like we're still going to have a full season this year, even though, we're going to miss the first week of the season, and double headers are going to have to be played to make up those games. But technically, people should be used to it right now, because this is we're starting the third season of this extra inning rule.
Yeah, so I get it, and it's tough for me to say that as a baseball purist. But there were so many games I saw last year that went to extra innings, Trent, where even if the team scored that run in the top half of the inning, oftentimes they would be matched, and it was pretty exciting to watch. It ramped up the scoring late in the game, and you really didn't feel safe with a lead in extra innings unless you got 2 runs across. If you got that 1 run across, you felt like, they're starting the bottom half of the inning with the guy on second. We're not safe here. We got to get that extra run. And then on top of that, if you actually didn't score that run in the top of the inning, now you really felt like you were in trouble. You're definitely losing. So it added a whole different emotion to the end of some of these games that I found actually pretty entertaining and thrilling. So I get it. You're a baseball purist. You don't like it, and I get it. But I don't know. I found it to be extremely entertaining. I really did. I loved it.
Well, we have to it's a sign of the times, as Petula Clark said. And you have to kind of, roll with it. You got to roll with what you got.
Oh, yeah. I'm with it, though. I dig it. What else you got, Trent?
Well, let me tell you what. You look at Baker Mayfield. You look at whiners in sports. There are several. James Harden is definitely one. Several other, like Dwight Howard has always been a whiner in the NBA. Well, we've had whiners in the NFL with Marshawn Lynch and several other those guys. Well, Baker Mayfield, add him to that list, because the Cleveland Browns, it did come out today, being Thursday, by the way, that the Deshaun Watson will not be indicted on the sexual harassment charges for the sexual harassment allegations that he had whenever he's with the Houston Texans.
About how many accusations was it, Trent? Like 22 or 20? It's
22 or 23, yeah.
Ridiculous number.
Yeah, no question about that. But Baker Mayfield of the Cleveland Browns is saying, he's kind of a little bit of a drama king / queen, whatever you want to call him, basically saying that he's threatening to hold out because he doesn't know where he's going to be. He might be a backup on a certain team, and Buccaneer local media across the area are saying that Tampa Bay could get him. Jason Light didn't rule that out of the realm of possibilities to maybe have him back up Tom Brady, because they don't think Kyle Trask is going to be the man in Tampa. Of course, you don't know that. Kyle Trask, I think, only took a few snaps in the preseason, but I mean, they really have not been able to see what he's been able to offer, because whenever the Bucs were blowing teams out, or whenever the Bucs were being blown out, guess who got put in the game? Blaine Gabbert, the veteran NFL quarterback.
Right.
So just to make sure. So they have no idea what they have with Trask. So, who knows? They might trade Kyle Trask. Baker Mayfield might come here. But, Rich, I tell you what, I don't want his drama, okay? He's just seeking attention. He's one of those attention seekers that will do anything he can. He'll post cryptic posts on social media to try to get people's attention, just saying, woe is me, poor, pitiful me. And to be honest with you, Baker Mayfield's not that great of a quarterback.
Well, that's what it comes down to. And you look at Baker Mayfield, the number one pick in the draft back in 2018, and you look at that draft class, right? You look at Baker Mayfield, the first pick in the draft, not that good. He's a mediocre NFL quarterback, bottom of the barrel, 20 through 30. He's barely a starter in the league, but he's okay. I mean, just look at Odell Beckham Jr. The Browns go out, they get Odell Beckham Jr. Mayfield just couldn't get him the ball. Then he goes to the Rams, and look at what Stafford did with OBJ. I mean, he was unstoppable, and he blew out his knee in the Super Bowl, but he still had a touchdown in that game. When OBJ has a quarterback, the guy's a force. He's unstoppable. When he was in Cleveland, Baker Mayfield just could not get him the ball. I go back to that 2018 draft class. Then you look at Sam Darnold. The Jets drafted him with the third pick. Garbage. Did nothing. 1 year with Carolina. Carolina's moving on. Just look at the quarterbacks that came. Now, who did these teams skip out? Who did it? So the Jets drafted Darnold. The Browns drafted Baker Mayfield. With the 7th pick in the 2018 draft, the Buffalo Bills draft Josh Allen with the number 7 pick. The Jets could have had him. The Browns could have had him. The Bills get him, and they're one of the best teams in the AFC right now. Maybe should have went to a Super Bowl last year. Look at some of these other quarterbacks. Josh Rosen was drafted with the 10th pick in the draft that year. I think he's on a practice squad somewhere. And all the experts that year were saying, oh, Josh Rosen, the most NFL-ready quarterback in the draft. And he stinks. He doesn't even have a career in the league. And I think the most jarring name on the list when you go back to the 2018 draft is you look at the number. Do you remember in 2018, Trent, who the number 32 pick in the draft was?
Sam Darnold?
No, that was the number 3 pick by the Jets.
3, okay.
Number
sorry.
32 was Lamar Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
So
I remember that.
So the Jets and the Browns with Baker Mayfield. That's why this is a fascinating draft to me, because the Jets had the 3rd pick. They draft Darnold. He stinks. But Lamar Jackson, I don't know, did he win the MVP? He's definitely been an MVP candidate with Baltimore. 32nd pick in the draft that year, and Josh Allen, number 7 pick. And like you said, there was a lot of expectation with Baker Mayfield. He just isn't that good. And what happens now is, I think the bigger story is definitely Deshaun Watson, and one of the richest contracts in the history of the NFL, 5 years, $230 million, all of it guaranteed for a guy who just had those, 22 sexual misconduct accusations against him. The whole thing just got $230 million guaranteed. Now, take the criminal investigation out of it, and it's hard to do that, right? Because it's a very ugly, terrible thing. He's one of the best players in the league. He's almost like a Michael Vick that can throw better than Vick did. So Deshaun Watson's a big time talent. When he's at his best, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. If you're Baker Mayfield, shouldn't you understand that? The Cleveland, they want to win. They haven't won a Super Bowl ever. They won some championships pre-Super Bowl era, but you're talking about a fan base that's been waiting a very, very long time for a championship, and you get a chance to get a player like this. And I got to trust the Browns when they say they did their investigation. They looked into it and they felt comfortable giving him all of that money. The next thought here, Trent, is, well, what's the NFL going to do? Because you got to figure there's going to be some type of disciplinary action for the accusations and not representing the league well.
Yeah, you got to think he could be suspended at any moment.
Yeah, he's gonna. I think there's no doubt he's gonna be suspended. The question is gonna be how many games will he be suspended, which is maybe why the Browns might be interested in keeping Baker Mayfield around. So he could play the first 5-6 games, however many games Deshaun Watson is suspended for. But if you're Baker Mayfield, you have a year left on your contract. Just honor it. If they trade you, honor that. But you have a team that went out there and went out and got a Deshaun. I had my Deshaun Watson dreams a couple years ago with the Jets, right, Trent? We remember that.
I remember that. You wanted, Deshaun Watson, he could come to New York. Thankfully, he didn't.
And then those accusations happened. And he didn't go anywhere. So
no.
And now finally he ends up going to Cleveland. But I'm
another
with
big contract that was signed this week, and I'll get into this in a second. But another big contract this week was Tyreek Hill of the Kansas City Chiefs going down to Miami. I mean, can you believe that? A Miami 4-year, about $120 million and 5 draft picks for a guy who was the hero arguably in Kansas City's playoff appearances for the last handful of years. I mean, can you believe that?
Oh, what a nightmare, Trent. I mean, as a Jet fan, I wake up on Wednesday and reports are coming in that the Jets and the Dolphins are the only teams involved in a possible trade for Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs, which is shocking to begin with that Kansas City would even think about trading this guy. His chemistry with Patrick Mahomes is incredible. He's one of the best players in football. There's nobody like him. He's so fast. He make you look good as a quarterback real quick. Other than Travis Kelce and Mahomes, obviously Tyreek Hill is the most important player on that offense. So now things change a little bit. He goes to Miami, but for about an hour, and it was real quick, for about an hour as a Jet fan, you are dreaming about the possibility of Tyreek Hill wearing the green and white, being there for Wilson, for Zach Wilson as he takes the next step, and hopefully, you hope as a Jet fan, becoming a big-time NFL quarterback. But of course, garbage. He's not coming to the Jets. Big-time disappointment. Of course, he's going to Miami. He chooses South Beach. He picks no state income tax, and the Jets. Basically, here we are again with major disappointment. It's such a tease, Trent, to wake up and hear that, and then an hour later, he went to Miami. Sorry. So, that was big-time disappointment for me.
Oh yeah, without question. So but it's there's been a lot of shakeup in the NFL. You mentioned the vaccine mandates in Brooklyn with, of course, Kyrie Irving and several other, like Aaron Judge. He didn't get the COVID-19 vaccine, but turns out just before baseball season gets underway, he'll be able to play games in both New York and away from Yankee Stadium. So you're not going to have the situation that Kyrie Irving had where he was only allowed to play in road games. He's now going to be able to play in home games as well for the Brooklyn Nets. So that happened at the right time, I think. And
it shows the power of baseball in New York City, right? Because here we have Kyrie Irving, who hasn't played a home game for the Brooklyn Nets this season. Baseball season 2 weeks away. We all know how much money the Yankees and the Mets bring into the city. And now you're finding out, Aaron Judge, it's being reported, Aaron Judge not vaccinated. Anthony Rizzo, Yankee first baseman, not vaccinated. And we don't know the true extent to how many of the players are not vaccinated. And all of a sudden now we're ending the mandate because, Major League Baseball season is about to start in 2 weeks. So, but it shows the power of baseball in New York City. I think it's right. It just the mandate at this point makes absolutely no sense. I mean, you're looking at baseball where they're playing outside, and baseball you're already socially distanced on the field, right? And not to mention that you allow fans into the opening day in New York City. There are going to be 55,000 fans at Yankee Stadium, okay? We don't know how many of those people are vaccinated, and you don't care, but for some reason, the guy playing on the field has to be vaccinated. So, and it was the same thing with Kyrie Irving. You have an arena, this is indoors. You're at full capacity now. You're letting people into the arena to watch NBA basketball, which is great, but Kyrie Irving can't play basketball. And then on top of that, Irving shows up to sit in the stands a couple of weeks ago, and it just showed how ridiculous the whole thing is. He can go sit in the stands, but he can't play on the court.
He can't even sit on the bench.
Yeah, and but yet visiting players, unvaccinated visiting players could play in the game, which made absolutely no sense. Now the Nets may still face a challenge. They might end up in the play-in tournament because of injuries and where they are in the standings right now. And there is a possibility they might have a play-in game in Toronto, and Toronto still has their own mandate. And if that was the case, Brooklyn's game in Toronto, Kyrie Irving would not be able to play in that game. So still things to worry about if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan along that front, but we'll see how that all develops. But the good news is if you're the Yankees, Judge, whoever it is, or the Mets, everybody's going to be able to play, and I think it's right. The next thing they got to do, quite honestly, is end the mandate for state employees and things like that, teachers, and just let everybody get back to work. Leave people alone. Let them do what they want to do at this point, because there's just no defending it. Now, if you're telling me if athletes and performers can do their thing unvaccinated, why is a teacher or a police officer or a fireman, why aren't they able to work? So it's time that New York City and other places kind of get their stuff together when it comes to these mandates and stuff. So I just don't think the science, as it were, backs up what seems to be a political thing now. So anyway, that's just my opinion, Trent. That's just my opinion.
And that's pretty much all. Those are the highlights of the week in terms of sports.
That's some good sports. Listen to Outta Sights Sports, but that's a pretty good sports segment right here. We might maybe we'll post this as just Outta Sights Sports on the highlights and stuff too, or I mean as Super Radio Brothers Sports, so we could get more people out there to check it out. Some good stuff going out there with Super Radio Brother Sports.
It's time to sit down and unwind and listen to the Couch Report.
Yes, sit down, unwind the couch, enjoy yourself, stretch out, and so let's get started there. We'll start with you, Trent. Anything? I know you haven't been spending a lot of time on the couch. You've been really busy. Maybe you got an off-the-couch report. Tell us what's going on with Trent Ferguson.
The band is back in action this Saturday night. We're playing for a thing called Music in the Park. It's called Highlands Hammock State Park. It's a nice little venue out there. Looking forward to playing from 7 to 9 o'clock. We're going to play all kind of songs. We're going to play some Dire Straits. We're going to play some Billy Joel. We're going to play the Beatles. We're going to play all those the main guys. And then this is our first public show. A lot of shows that we do, we play in a lot of the retirement communities in and around the area that I live. So we play, a lot of them are private events, but this Saturday night will be the public's chance to come out. One of the public's chances within the next few months to come out and watch the band play. So really looking forward to that. Looking forward to be playing as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I was the public address announcer for of course, I am the public address announcer for the Avon Park Red Devils. And so we're going to have, we had a game this week. Don't have one until April 1st, so I got most of next week off from that aspect. But once April 1st hits, we're going to have a week and a half where we're going to have 2-3 home games a week. So that's going to be interesting to say the least. So that'll be fun things to do as the district tournament comes around. We're going to have home games. We're going to have all kind of different things taking place. So. Looking forward to that. Hopefully, the Avon Park Red Devils. Currently, they're 7-3 as of right now. I think they did play tonight. With tonight being Thursday, they did go down to LaBelle, but they were like 7-3. They kind of run into a little bit of a losing streak as of yet, or as of right now. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, the Red Devils can come back and play some good ball moving forward. So we got that, and then also. Getting ready to graduate college. I'll be graduating from South Florida State College, getting my Associate of Arts degree starting in May. May 10th will be the day that I graduate, but I've been working on that. Just got done one of my major research papers for my American Literature course, which Rich is wanting to read, by the way. He said he wanted to read it.
Yes.
And so I will make sure that he gets a copy of it so he can read it and tell me what he thinks about it. and the professor seemed to enjoy it. So it looks like I got an A on that paper. And so other than that, hey, I haven't had much time to watch TV. I'm still watching Upload. I've enjoyed that. Going to start I know we mentioned we were going to watch the Adams Project last week, but out of the stuff out in left field that I realized I had this past week, I hadn't had a chance to. But next week will be a much tamer week. I want to really get in depth in my couch report next week, talking about the Adams Project, that new show, as well as continuing to watch Upload, where the human's intelligence is being uploaded to the cloud, which essentially that's what it's actually doing. It seems like our intelligence. It seems like Google is so easy these days to find out information that we didn't know. Anyway, that's another topic for another time. But that's basically my couch report in a nutshell.
So let's go there real quick. I love the show Upload. How many episodes are you into there in the first season?
In the first season, I'm into I think I'm on episode 4 or 5.
It's really, it's a funny show. I love the length of the show, about 25 minutes long each episode. And yeah, it's a great concept where before you die, they somehow upload your consciousness into a computer program, kind of like these MMO games we talk about, where you can kind of go in there and continue your existence, not in the real world, but in a simulation, in a computer program. And it's a really fascinating modern sci-fi concept where, hey, we don't need the body to exist anymore. Just upload your consciousness into a computer program. What do you think about that concept, Trent, and just overall the show in general? Are you entertained by it? What do you like about it?
Oh, I'm entertained. I'm entertained just by the the jokes and by the remarks that the main characters make. I'm entertained by just the sound effects that are used. As a blind and visually impaired individual, the auditory cues really help me pick up the show, as well as the descriptions, the actual descriptions that are used for blind and visually impaired people. But I love how the show is done. I'm entertained by it. I'm entertained by the ingenuity from the show, from the main characters. The main characters, good character kind of development, and they each play their roles well. So overall, yes, I'm very entertained. Yeah,
basically develops into a murder mystery. You have one dude who was uploaded, and while he's there, he starts his own. He believes he was murdered, and he's able to investigate that. So it's a really good show. I love it. I thought the second season was strong as well. So definitely worth checking out. I did see the Adam Project. Basically, and that also does star what's his name, Ryan Reynolds, who's really cool. I think he's a pretty funny guy. And everybody loves him as Deadpool. A couple of different Marvel people in this show. You got Mark Ruffalo, who plays the Incredible Hulk in Avengers, and also Zoe Saldana. She also plays a character in Guardians. She plays Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy. So a lot of big time stars. Catherine Keener's another big time actors all around in this show. I think Ryan Reynolds is hilarious, and basically it's about his character accidentally crash landing in 2022, a time-traveling fighter pilot, and he teams up, Trent, with his 12-year-old self on a mission to save the future. So I thought it was pretty good. I like Ryan Reynolds' stuff, so I was really into it. As a matter of fact, Ryan Reynolds recently he did a commercial for British Airways, and basically he did it because they're serving a gin that I guess is his company. He's selling gin now, Trent. So he actually had a airplane safety message for British Airways. So since we're talking about the Adam Project, let's listen to a little bit of Ryan Reynolds. Why not, right? Let's see what he has. Let's hear his safety video for British Airways. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello and welcome aboard British Airways. Please pay attention as I demonstrate me, the safety features of this aircraft. This aircraft is equipped with Aviation American gin. Please ensure that your seatbelt is fastened whenever drinking it. Spilling even one drop of the world's highest rated gin will result in you being duct taped to your seat for the remainder of the flight. In the event of loss of cabin pressure, aviation gin will automatically fall from the panel above your head. You're welcome. In the unlikely event of a water landing, flotation devices will be available and they will be amazing. This is starting to feel reckless. Okay, yeah, let's just stop.
This is starting to feel reckless. That is kind of reckless, right? You don't want to say any of that. Come on, man. Come on.
No, it is.
As a matter of fact, though, yeah, if the plane lost altitude and instead of an air mask dropping, it was a bottle of gin, that might hurt. I think, that might.
Yeah,
not,
the glass bottle hitting you right in the face. Yeah, it'll definitely wake you up.
It doesn't sound like a very good a safety feature for an airplane.
Yeah, and I would not want to be duct taped to my seat. I don't care what I've done. I just, that just sounds weird. What if you have to get up and go to the bathroom? You can't because you're duct taped to your seat. You can't move.
Yeah, and you got duct taped to your seat because you spilled some gin. That's not cool.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're going to have to go to the bathroom if you drink some gin, I'm sure. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I guess so, right? It's par for the course, as they would say, I guess. So, yeah, I got a chance to see it, The Atom Project. I thought it was really cool. And for a Netflix movie with those big stars, and the story was a little complicated, but it's not so hard to follow, especially if you've seen Star Trek. So it was very entertaining. It was cool. Speaking of Star Trek Picard is back for season 2. Patrick Stewart, the man. Everybody who's a Star Trek fan loves Patrick Stewart as Captain Jean-Luc Picard. And honestly, the first season, I was a little disappointed in it. I didn't love it. I was not a big fan of it. But I got to tell you, season 2 is straight up fire. I love it. Basically, it brings the character back from the Next Generation, Q, who's basically this godlike being who's always messing with the crew of the Enterprise, and Picard himself, putting through these trials and tribulations, making them prove themselves. So a little odd situation here. Picard and his crew encounter the Borg out in deep space. It turns out not to be the Borg, or it was the Borg, but they attack the ship. And in attacking the ship, now they're spreading their signal to all the ships in the fleet. So in order to stop it, Picard blows up his own ship. But instead of dying, they end up in this alternate reality where it's not the Federation, it's the Confederation. And he is the general of the Confederation that's about to have mass execution day. So they end up in this reality that's pretty sick and twisted. And they find out they need to go back in time to stop what happened from happening. So Picard and crew end up in the year 2024, reminiscent of how Kirk and Spock and the original Enterprise crew in Star Trek IV, A Voyage Home, end up in, I think, 1988, our time. They had to go back in time, too. That's actually, I think, the only Trek movie that won an Academy Award. It was really good. It was basically about saving whales. It was because a space probe came to Earth to communicate with whales for some reason, and it couldn't because in the future, Trent, all the whales are extinct. So the Enterprise has to go back in time, take a whale from the past to the future so it communicates with the space probe and saves the Earth. Yes, very complicated. But anyway, Picard's crew, they got to go back in time for a completely different reason, to maybe not as meaningful as that movie was. But anyway, we'll see how it develops. But I think it's been straight fire. I really dig it. As I said, the first season disappointed me. Much prefer Star Trek Discovery. But man, Picard has really picked up its game here in season 2, and I really dig it. So I really enjoyed that. Do I have anything else here? Raised by Wolves, season 2 ended. We talked about that. The Battle of the Mithraic, the religious zealots, the Mithraic against the atheist zealots. They're both zealots in their own way, fighting for the future of humanity in a distant planet because they already destroyed the Earth. This is hundreds of years into the future. It's a really great show, and it was produced by Ridley Scott of Alien fame. I love Ridley Scott's vision. I love the movie Prometheus. I think he's a great director. He didn't direct this or write this like he did with Alien, but he did produce the first season, and the look and the characters are very Ridley Scott. So I'm definitely a big fan there. And Servant continues to be great. Probably the best thing on television right now, Apple TV. So yeah, just been enjoying all of those things, and I think that about does it for me on my couch report. Definitely, Trent, we will talk about the Adam Project next week when you get a chance to check it out. And I want to stay up to date, if you will, with your viewing of Upload, because I think that is a really cool show as well. So there you go. That's the couch report. Are we leaving anything out here, Trent? Did you? Am I forgetting something?
No, that's pretty much it. You know, it's another show flew by. My second episode has come down, and hopefully many more to come.
Well, it was good hanging out with you, Trent, and good hanging out with you as well. Don't forget, Twitch Friday nights at 9 o'clock. Come play video games with me. Also, Outta Sights Sports. Check that out as well. Super Radio Brothers highlights on YouTube. Super Radio Brothers on YouTube. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, the whole thing. Go find the Super Radio Brothers. Okay, Trent?
Okay.
He's like, okay, yeah, I will. I promise. I'm going to do that. So, that being said, in the words of Bob Dylan, time is an ocean, but it ends at the shore. The Super Radio Brothers have reached the shore. See ya!
Bye-bye.